contagious doesn't necessarily make you curious. So I like to look at things in that way, you know, things that give me great benefit. Curiosity gives me great benefit. So what are they saying, Myles?
Some people are not understanding the point I was trying to make, so I just clarified for them.
Ah, well, I'm curious to know. I want details, man.
So, I created a post that said, like, I'm attracted to, let me see. So you could be the most attractive and successful human alive, but if you haven't done the inner work, I still won't be attracted to you.
I saw that.
And some people are like, I don't care if you're attracted to me. And I was just like, whoever is taking this literally as if I'm speaking to you is not understanding the point I'm trying to make. I'm merely trying to help understand.
Your point was about attractiveness, not about specifically being attractive.
Yes, and how we've been conditioned to be attracted to superficial.
Right, it's about the quality of attractiveness in general. Yeah, communication is a haphazard affair. Yeah? It's always something to keep in mind, that communication is very haphazard, you know. Very seldom. Most people, they don't say what they mean. And of course, a lot of them don't mean what they say either. But you know, when just in an earnest, good person point of view, that when we understand, and particularly this is very vitally useful in relationships, when we realize and recognize and are aware that we don't always mean say what we mean. We know we mean it right, but it comes out all wrong. So in a relationship, when we keep that haphazardness of communication in mind all the time, we say, okay, that didn't quite sound right. My first instinct is to say, what the fuck are you saying? That's really cockeyed. But to shift and say, that might not have come out right. But now I check on that and say, is that really, you know, can you say it another way? I'm not quite sure. Or I give my takeaway and say, that sounds like you're saying this, and I say, no. And then we change it. So you give space for our whatever we say to be updated and refined and to continually be fine-tuned.
Interpretation.
Right. So that we don't get locked into what I'm saying. That's the key. Then to arguments always, or people are taking whatever you said and you kind of lock people into that. So that's a very big deal when it comes to making our relationships work, is not getting locked into and not holding people to what they say. Right? Because what they say is not what they mean. So,
Big deal.
yeah, it's simple stuff, man, simple stuff. But you know, we do that and we get into all these big arguments, and then it's like, man, but that's not really what I meant to say. Yeah, but that's what you said. But it's not what I meant to say, but it's what you said. That's the argument, really. You know, when we give that space, okay, can you update that? Can you fine tune it? And sometimes, you know, when you say something, you might even have meant it and it came out right. But now on second thoughts, oh, you know what? Not actually, not really. You know, just getting venting or whatever. You know, there's other reasons why we say cockeyed stuff. That tolerance, it leverages us to look at things from those different perspectives. I like your questions, by the way, man. You know, that like you asked about what's the difference between perception and perspective. It's a simple question, but it really matters. And also takes a lot of energy. That's why you see you kind of drained at the end of all these sessions, because that's what you do when you're kind of looking at it like that. You're really taking this and you're making sure that, hey, I really am connecting to stuff, I'm really understanding it. Now you're adding and you're extending your own understanding of things. It takes a lot of energy to do that. A lot of energy. It's a big thing. Alright, so let's hear what are potential self-conception terms for you? Or self-conceptions, they're not really terms, they're self-conceptions.
Yeah, give me one moment while I write some down.
No fun exercise,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you shift to making it personal, it starts to get exciting. Yeah? I'm kind of serious too, in a way.
I got a few. For now.
Or to say something else before we go into that.
Mm-hmm.
We go through our daily lives and you listen to people speak. You hear how they continually describing themselves. I'm this, I do this, I like to do that, I don't like to do this, right? It just comes in all our daily conversation. Which means we constantly, really, every time we say that, we're constantly defining ourselves. We actually limit ourselves more and more whenever we do that. When we bring into this new conception of ourselves, this type of an abstract overview conception, those typical statements of, I like to eat this, I like to do that, they don't apply to being a spirit warrior. Spirit warrior is kind of the other way. Whenever we connect to some profound conception, some exactly overview, those get added to a spirit. The trivial, petty, crap and shit does not. So we kind of have this different paths of process. One going outward, the other one kind of narrow. It's really interesting, and that how it affects our language, this conception. All right, let's see what you got.
Advocate for truth. Knowledge applier. Giver and sharer. Light shiner. Truth and love illuminator. Authenticity bringer. Energy transmuter. Leader of the lost.
Interesting. Well, that's fantastic. I mean, I can't say, I think they're all wonderful, but it's, what resonates and connects with you. What's noticeable there is that the term warrior is obviously missing in any one of them.
Spirit warrior is in there, but...
Oh, you put spirit warrior at the top? I didn't mean that. Oh.
Well, I didn't say it.
Okay.
But it was redundant.
I'm just asking because, for some people, like one person I know, they don't like the term warrior. They don't want to have anything to do with it. They're very narrow a little bit in their mindset. Like authenticity, you said authenticity...
Bringer.
What an authenticity warrior. See how it changes it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, that works.
Because
actually, that suggests there's a fight to be authentic.
kind of, but you're a warrior for authenticity. Yeah.
I guess that's more realistic, but idealistically, it shouldn't be a fight to be yourself.
No, it shouldn't be, but unfortunately at times somewhat is for most people, But you're also a warrior for authenticity in itself, not necessarily to be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not an authentic warrior, you're an authenticity warrior, which means you're fighting for an authenticity, right?
Yeah, warrior for authenticity.
Which is the same thing as saying a truth warrior.
Mm-hmm.
The reason to add warrior to these is because of that connectivity to strategy, primarily.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. And also the impliedness of impeccability, right? That's why I'm singling or focusing on authenticity.
Light warrior.
There you go. You want to bring the fullness of what you're about. You, Myles, as an individual, you're on a quest, no?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just about what you are doing right now. It's also about who you actually are eternally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in that sense, you are about not just love, not just authenticity and truth, but also about love, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Love and light warrior.
Right. And you're saying, in this, we're looking for a conception which does to a certain extent describe us now, but that's not what we're after.
Awareness warrior.
We're looking at the future. And we're also looking at a conception which enables us and leverages us to do what we really, really, deeply, truly want to do and be. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to have a conception which says, this is my real self, the one that I know I actually am. Yes, I'm not quite living it just yet, but I'm in the process of getting there, right? I'm every day working at being my real self more and more and more. My real self also is one which has an idealness to it,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what I really, really am, but also want to be. So the two together, right? For instance, I might not be specifically, say, noble in my activities right now, but in my soul, in my heart, nobility deeply sits and resonates, right? It's a profound part of me. So my conception has to include that. I'm saying for me personally, yes. So for me, like, okay, spirit warrior, yes. Just spirit itself is a noble thing. To be a warrior for spirit, that's a noble endeavor. No mine, anybody's, right? In my conception, this is all about how personally you relate to stuff. And then again, we want to be that element of strategy, because if we're all idealistic without strategy, we get wiped out all the time. You see it every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can't just say, well, I'm just going to be this creature of love and just love everything. Yeah, missionaries, for instance, like genuine, real, heartfelt missionaries, or charity workers, even a better example. They get wiped out all the time, Not just in a literal sense, actually, but in a spiritual sense too. This is a real huge problem, actually, in the charity industry. The big charity organizations, after being in process for, bunch of years now, a significant time where they can look back and see the fruits and the stuff, they found that in many instances they've made not just things worse, but they've created the whole Somalia warlord thing. That's all as a result of charity. They came and dropped off supplies, and the warlord said, oh cool, free supplies. Yeah, this is a powerful way to manipulate people. I just steal all the supplies and now I've got control of the stuff. And they gave them something to have power with. They gave them a tool for manipulating people. They created that shit. So that's just one example. I mean, there's just dozens and dozens of well-meaning people who didn't think their shit through, had no strategy, and they caused a profound fuck up. I mean, a lot of people have committed suicide and whatever. Their lives are ruined because of this realization, oh my God, I was trying to do good and I actually made things worse because they had no strategy. So that's really, really, really devastating. So we can be good and be all connected to goodness, but if we get lost in that bubble, in other words, love without awareness, can be disastrous. This is why that warrior concept is so profound, because we have to be realistic. As this entire way of impeccability, it's about being real, and that's about also being realistic. So yes, I can love and profound and profess love all I like. You go to Somalia and deal with the world, you don't care how loving and good you are. He wants what he wants, so you need strategy. You need that warrior mindset, right? So this is it. We're going to have to deal with trolls on the internet too. We need strategy for dealing with trolls. Now, yes, from the new nobility point of view, we have profound strategy called capital D diplomacy, where you leverage things like queuing people. I mean, that's real sophisticated stuff. You understand what queuing is, queuing people, right? You can queue people with the force of your awareness, with putting things in a structure or a format in such a way that it doesn't even open the door for you. Like we were saying, what the girl who doesn't see that guy, who just mentioned, she's queuing that he doesn't exist. And that's so profound. People react to queuing in deep ways that they're not even aware of. You can almost force behavior. So queuing can be a mechanism for manipulation, and a lot of people do use that. But of course, we're doing this from a totally ethical point of view. The ethics of queuing says, hey, if I don't cue positivity, I can inadvertently cue negativity. And I had a profound experience of this, where it actually originated from. When I was at school, there was this girl, Therese is her name. I've got her written down somewhere anyway. And for some reason, she just started arguing with me about bloody everything. And whenever I said, she took umbrage to it, and I just started, what the fuck, man? It's like, why? You were the one who wanted to argue with me. I don't know. So one day I realized during an argument, I said, I realized that she was responding to my perception and belief and my idea of who she was as being this kind of irritating, obnoxious little bitch that just argues with everything. I became acutely aware that this wasn't actually real Therese, but she was conforming to my expectation and belief of her. Like, what the fuck? In other words, I'm creating this behavior, not her. She's just a follower and she's following my lead. Now, why she would follow mine, I don't know. Okay, I wasn't an ordinary kid ever. Always kind of one of the, I don't want to say popular kids, but in the language of the school today, we used to call them the main kids. That was our language. Like, there's always, like, I guess, a leadership group, but you're not technically a leader in a way. Just like people who look to you, example. So I guess that. But that made me realize, fuck, Then I started looking around and I saw that there were kids who would get hidings every fucking day. I mean, we had physical, caning still. Every day they get a hiding. And they would fuck up and screw up. And I realized, my God, they've been told this by teachers, that, oh, you're a fuck up, you're a screw up. And that in their minds, this is what I should be. And they behave according to that idea that comes their way. It's mind-blowing that they could do things which are actually like unpleasant and harmful to themselves, but that's how they conform to that idea. It is just something unbelievable to me. It made me also realize that not everybody's in charge of their life path and their life awareness and how they consider and conceive themselves. It comes from outside very often, but we can use that same mechanism on ourselves. So part of this is to shift that. And all those people really needed was somebody to have an idea of them that's different. Now, of course, you want to get to a point where you're doing this for yourself, but we do have to have that awareness and realization. I'm saying this in the context of capital D diplomacy, that our expectations and beliefs of others can actually literally change their behavior in very profound ways. That's a deep responsibility, which now puts the onus on me to not have negative expectations and beliefs of others, not cue them negatively, right? I have that profound purpose to cue them positively. So this is part of our self-conception. I'm just saying that it's not that people are independent, in other words. Some people follow and some people lead, it seems. Now, yes, ideally we want to get everybody to be leaders leaders of themselves, right?
That's one of my goals.
Right.
I realize that people are deriving their sense of self through the external and the other people's perceptions of them.
Exactly. That's the whole point of awareness.
And that's how they created their own limiting identity over the course of their entire life.
Right.
Why they start to feel lost at a certain time and don't know what the fuck is happening.
Exactly. So your awareness actually has a goal to it. The outcome of raising your awareness is to generate and foster independence. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Independence of being. That's really what you're after. The awareness
Freedom,
is a means
joy.
to an end. Yeah? You want people to be independent. Right?
Yeah. Freedom.
Right. So you're a freedom warrior, but a freedom warrior, it applies to freedom. But we write it, yes, add it to the list, absolutely. But it's not entirely accurate. You're a freedom of self warrior or an independence of self warrior. Yeah?
Self-independence? Warrior?
Self-independence, yeah. Personal freedom. You have a very specific mission in this sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, awareness is the path to that, but you could just raise awareness and people could be aware of, for instance, like those followers, I'm more aware of something that is better for me to follow. It's not enough, right? You don't want to just shift your following from one thing to another. It's the independence that you have to say. So really, that independence starts with self-appreciation.
Independence starts with self-awareness.
Right. But I mean, they can be aware that I'm a follower and it doesn't matter, but if they start to self-appreciate themselves as being potentially more than just a follower.
You can't appreciate what you're not aware of.
Right, exactly. It's a circle. It's that infinity loop. The one leads to the other. Right, exactly. You need them both. But I'm just saying that from personal experience that when people start appreciating themselves, it generates a new awareness. Whereas they can be aware of themselves and they go to therapy. Now I'm aware I'm a fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the one leads to the other, but awareness just as a starting point can lead them to a more acute awareness of their fuck-upness as they perceive it and lead them to depression. Whereas self-appreciation will generate awareness of, hey, I can be more. And people stay in bubble awarenesses because they don't want to be aware of their fuck-up side. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we start then with self-appreciation, oh, you know what, I actually am more. And now that whole fuck-up side just becomes irrelevant because I got something to work on. They never believed, they never thought, they never conceived that they actually have something to be proud of, to feel good about, to self-appreciate. So the self-appreciation automatically generates the appropriate awareness we want. We want an awareness of the fact that you can be more, that you are more. Not just self-awareness in general, because again, like I said, that could lead to depression, right? If you think of it in the context of your text and in all your online communications, if you say it's about awareness, okay, it's about awareness, but if you say it's about self-appreciation, now it has connectivity. Right? Now I'm interested because that's what I want. Yeah, awareness, I can take it or leave it. I'm talking about from the perspective of somebody who's out there, right? Awareness, I can take it or leave it. I don't really wear all my shit. Fuck that. That's some people really feel that way. They don't want to be aware. Very specific, but they want to self-appreciate. Some big creature over in that. I don't know, flying thing up, it's underneath the eaves. You see it there?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's pretty big.
Where is it?
They're right there now. Oh, it just went further down. I don't know if you can still see it. No, it's gone. All right.
I'm not aware.
It moved out of range.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. That's it. Yeah,
Big
yeah.
fat bee.
Is that a bumblebee then? The big ones?
Black bee.
Black bee? Is that what they call?
No. It is black though.
We used to call them bromas. Broma. In the second language in South Africa, that's
I'll tell you what it is.
They kind of make that sound.
It's a behemoth.
It's a behemoth bee, yeah. Very interesting. I'm just thinking of it in terms of coming together, you know.
The movement and everything?
A bee warrior. Just that concept of bee being, just since it's a big bee, a small bee, a behemoth bee. Yeah, exactly. I'm just using it as an anomaly because it's quite anomalous. I don't see those around here very often. I have seen one or two before, but just right at this moment that it's coming, and, you know, so behemoth, the implication of more of being, right?
Be more warrior.
Right. Always when you look at things from a symbolic, metaphoric point of view, you always get moreness out of it. It's a really powerful mind shift technique.
Warrior of more.
A warrior of more.
For more.
A warrior for more. It's not a, you know, it doesn't have that, the language of saying, like I'm saying, I'm a warrior for more. It's not a noun necessarily. That's more of a verb. You know what I mean? It's a doing. It's not a conception in itself. You know what I mean?
More warrior?
A more warrior is the conception. You see how fitly we have inner bureaucrats where that precision is vitally necessary to get it exactly right. It's quite amazing, isn't it? You can feel that resonance, right? When you shift to say a more warrior to a warrior for more. It has a different effect on us inside, right? To say, I am a more warrior, ooh, wow, that's pretty good. I'm a warrior for more, okay, that's just something you do on the side. It's not an identity. It's amazing, subtle, nuanced language. We have inner bureaucrats, man. That's why they never throw anything away, because their task is essentially keeping you alive. That's their job. That's why change doesn't come about quickly, because change is dangerous. Change that hasn't been proven to be valid, they can't accept it. It's risky. Right? Now they're playing with ultimate stakes here.
Dangerous.
Dangerous, exactly.
A new definition.
Exactly. For the inner bureaucrat, change is risky and dangerous. And they're playing for high stakes. Keep in mind, right? Their mandate does not allow for a mistake. Keeping you alive. That's their mandate. Doesn't allow for a mistake. You make a mistake and you're dead, well, game over.
Who are we talking about?
The inner bureaucrats. That inner side that decides whether we change stuff, whether we adopt stuff, whether we take stuff on. That's why they are cautious when it comes to taking on new change. If this change isn't proven to be something that's actually valuable, then they can't take it. They can't actually implement it. Why? Because it's risky. They cannot. They have a very, very, very low risk tolerance because the stakes they are playing are absolute.
Dangerous is a. How would you say that? Then, like, it's not a noun.
Well, danger for them, it leverages the game, the stakes, the risk involved, right? Because the stakes of the game is alive or not alive. So if you make a catastrophic mistake, you only get one catastrophic mistake. But because they are absolutely impeccable in their mandate, they say, hey, we're not going to allow any kind of chance for that risk to go, right? They don't want to do it. So if you're taking on change which can lead to catastrophe, then they don't allow you to take it on. That's why conformity is so powerful. Because from bureaucrat logic, well, if everybody's doing it, it must be okay. And yes, in general, there is a logic to that. If everybody's eating this food, well, that's okay. See? So there is that logic. That's why conformity has such power. Because the bureaucrats say, okay, this is a safe choice to make. It may not be ideal, but it's safe. Their agenda is safety, right? Very interesting when we think of ourselves that way, right?
The inner bureaucrat is your ego, no?
It's kind of like the ego, but it's not really the ego.
It's the unevolved ego.
It's the anti-ego in a sense, almost, right?
Were we long?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's all good. Most excellent.
It's nice to be in.
Nice walk.
Was it hot?
Yeah.
Nice inside, yeah.
Dangerous is a. Like, what is the. Not a noun, verb, adverb.
Dangerous? Yeah, it's a noun. something is dangerous. No, it's an adjective. It's describing it's a quality of something, of an activity.
Adjective.
It could be or an adverb, either way, I suppose. Depends what you're describing. If we're saying it's a dangerous war, then it's an adjective describing a noun. But if you're saying it's a dangerous activity, an activity is a verb, something you do, right? So then that would be an adverb.
That is dangerous.
I'll taste it.
That's an adjective. It's saying that, which is a something.
They sell the
and you describe
juices
I'm creating a whole new word called
farmers
changes.
market.
it. Dangerous, right? It's an adjective and an adverb, both together, depending on the contextual use. Many words are like that. Dangerous is both an adjective and an adverb, depending what you're describing. If I'm saying jumping off a building, jumping is an activity, right? It's a verb. So the jumping off a building is dangerous. That activity is an adverb in that usage, right? But if I'm saying it's a dangerous war, war is a noun, so it becomes an adjective. So dangerous is can even be a verb too, but it's primarily an adverb or an adjective. Right? That's nice. I like that. It's really awesome. It's fantastic. But to understand our inner self, now that's not the entirety of our inner self. So it's just the side that keeps us safe. We also have a side that's adventurous, that explores boundaries, because we realize that, yes, in the logical degree, if we just stay the same, is that ultimately ideal? No. Why? Because there's stuff that we don't know that's out there, right?
It doesn't lead to growth.
Precisely, but we know that being what we are only safe in limited context. If shit changes, then we're screwed. That they know that too. So we do need to learn, because we know that what we are, it's limited, it's contextual specific. So if the environment changes and we're not prepared for it, we're screwed. That's why we like also to pursue change and growth and learning, because it enables us to have the ability to survive in a greater range of contexts.
This is good stuff.
What is this?
Yeah, I just had some.
What is it?
It's
I
the
doubt it's gonna
cucumber.
go with your chocolate.
It's cucumber.
Chocolate's so good right now.
Did you taste it?
It's
Oh.
cucumber milk.
No, not milk. No, it's milk chocolate. No.
I know, just because I was asking about earlier, but you want to make a product, cucumber milk, that would be a good one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't seen cucumber milk on the shelf yet.
Usually comes from nuts.
But you know, cucumber's still too ordinary. You need something that's not, you know cucumber, you can buy it every day in the supermarket. You can't buy flax, for instance, right? How come almonds got to be popular? They don't quite, but they were the original, because it was milk from almonds. Almonds have a romance to them. And milk from I just poke fun at the health movement, because those stores started where they really exploited people's ego and vanity, and they had no clue what was healthy or not healthy. It's just the idea that it's different and unusual and out there, and they milked that and kind of like.
Oh, they milked that. Yeah, you definitely milked it.
So it's amusing, but there's a good value that comes from it eventually, of course. Exciting, Olivia, exciting.
Do you like the cucumber, Mom?
I don't think he's tasted it because he's busy eating chocolate. He's not really going to go with the chocolate. Hey, are you putting my milk chocolate out there or the...
Yeah, that's the dark chocolate.
My chocolate's running low here. Chocolate, like cheese, is a necessity, not a luxury. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. We'll continue in a second. I don't want to lose our thread.
I'm having 2 drinks. I'm trying this matcha.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, as we said, Spirit Warriors on that list also, right?
Say again?
Your list. Spirit Warriors also on there, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is the RV, my brother's RV.
Oh,
It's a 40
that's
foot
gorgeous.
Class A.
Yeah. No, ours wasn't modern like that.
Mm.
Look at that. 40 foot. But it was big. Yeah.
That's good. 40 foot is very.
I
That's
was
like
like,
I didn't
man,
conquer
I
beer in that,
actually,
can
in
you?
the end, I was like done with that sizing. Some RV parks you couldn't get into because they had limitations.
Exactly.
I think the best thing now are those like van conversions or the little RVs.
I'm with you.
Yeah, where you can be in a city and you could, be right there. John, this is quite good. I just topped it. I don't know, see, you like it, but
You think
it's
I like
refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's some kind of herb, right?
it? Very unusual.
Yeah.
I'm trying to place that taste.
Is it mint? But not quite. Mint is too potent.
Not quite.
Some kind of herb.
I'm used to.
Basil. No,
No.
no. There's something that
It's quite good.
What is that?
I don't know.
What did it say on the box?
Well, it's not in a box. They make it and they sell it at the farmer's market. I could ask. Yeah. Actually, Nicole. Yeah. So. And the other one is a matcha.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of matcha latte. So it's some kind of milk.
I don't know. I can't place it.
And it's all organic. Yeah.
It is refreshing.
Yes. I'm delightfully surprised.
So what I miss?
We're just going through.
Self-perception.
Yeah, just working it on. We're starting for. We'll go over it in a minute. Well, actually, good that you weren't here because it is a very individual thing.
Yeah. Somehow it all works out. It always does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
magic.
We were
magic.
trying to get a view of Coffee Pot.
Wow. Okay.
But I was like, it's so in my mind's eye. Do you know what? We'd probably get a view from. I'm going to go in there
You
and
know
look
what?
because I need to satisfy myself.
Hold on. Okay, Google. Coffee Top Mountain images.
Coffee pot.
Coffee Top. Coffee Top Mountain.
Oh, you have to say Coffee Pot, Sedona, Arizona, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me do that again. Okay, Google. Coffee Pat Mountain Sedona images.
Coffee Pat.
There's like a Boston
There we go.
accent of it coming out.
That's
there.
it.
That's it
Yeah,
right there.
you see, so we
Right.
only saw that little.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So wait a minute, where is the pot? Oh, yeah.
all of that. You see, it's a coffee pot, not a teapot. Yeah.
You know, there's so many different profiles for coffee pots, but
Mhm.
you mean like a percolator? Oh, yeah, now I see it.
Yes.
Now I see it. That's a
Spouts.
spout and that's a top.
Top.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
Gotcha.
so
All right.
I'm gonna see. I don't want you to. I'm gonna see if I can see it from that entrance.
Ah.
What do we do?
Now I got you. I was wrong. When we first got here, I thought that the mountain that was used in Close Encounters of the Third Kind was here, but it's not. It's in Washington. It's Devil's Mountain there. It's not. It wasn't here.
The Sedona has been in many movies, but I don't think so much in more modern movies because it's expensive to shoot here.
Yeah, it's expensive. Like in restaurants. We just spent
And to find
$60
out.
for a couple of smoothies, and
Wow.
that's incredible.
Astonishing, yeah.
It's astonishing.
Astounding.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Miles, that list of yours, I want to hear them real quick again, please, if you don't mind.
I will tell you some.
What'd you learn, Grasshopper?
More warrior.
Just read through them from the top. I'm looking at a common thread for them. That's why I want to abstract it and see what comes. That's what's in my mind. I have an idea. I just want to see if it resonates with it.
Basically, like truth, spirit, light, love, energy, authenticity, awareness, self-independence, more.
And what about the appreciation?
I wrote that down as a quote. That was a...
With self-appreciation, I'm very specifically thinking of that. Or extending the more. Now, when you take all those things and wrap it up into one term, what would be one term for that represents all of that?
Did you hear Miles? He said
Oneness.
focus funk. Yeah.
When that all goes to your spirit, those are all qualities of spirit.
Mm-hmm. Spirit warrior it is.
Aren't you looking to get people specifically, your mission, your task? You want them to find their own spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And then take that spirit and even more and connect it to bigger spirit. That's the whole game right there. That's the expansion of the awareness and the consciousness, is to enlarge that spirit, to connect that spirit to larger spirit, right? To the spirit of man, to the spirit of life, spirit of the world, however you want to define it. But because spirit is such a nice, beautiful, nebulous term, that's pretty much everybody says, well, I've got spirit, like team spirit. They all use that, so it's not a foreign concept. So bigger spirit, team spirit is already something that's more than just my own spirit, right? So everybody has a connectivity to that term. So, capital S spirit as in spiritual, okay. People are okay with that because they understand it. Intuitively they know, because they have spirit, and they know things like team spirit and all that.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
So the one word that comes to my mind is enlightened, but not out of humility, but not out of
Right.
not humility, not out of
Waking warrior.
Ego.
ego.
Right. I mean, that's exactly it. To be one with spirit would be to be enlightened. So it's part of the process. And since we're looking specifically for a term